So what is growing on? I have a super exciting nursery update video and super exciting just specific nursery update in general, more or less maybe an online store shipping update. I'm gonna hold that for a little later in the video, so definitely stay tuned for this one. I got some probably the most exciting news I've had in a minute. Just excited to share with you guys. It's gonna help you more than it's gonna help me. So over here in the Jopotacaba zone this last week, we actually didn't do any installs. I gave one of my head guys the whole week off. Ryan got to get some stuff done around his own farm. Had some other guys just leave, got some new guys coming in. Help once again, it's still been a little challenging, but we were able to get a ton done here around the farm, which is huge. I'm finally getting rid of all of these hunter nodes. Not that I have anything against the hunter node. And when I talk about a hunter node, I guess I should show you guys specifically. Here's one right here on the ground. And I had this pulled out of the ground because I'm going through wires and checking colors right now and getting ready to take this one out of here. And this is a 6-zone wireless timer, kind of a commercial grade made by Hunter. And they work really well. To be honest with you, I probably have a dozen of those, or had a dozen of those around the farm. I'm slowly starting to try to get rid of them and get these, zones put into like one big clock. So this whole entire side of the farm, I think I got 15 zones on with all my new drip zones. I think I have nine zones alone just right here. 3 zones over there, and then the rest over here in the Jopotacaba area in the back. So I guess it's probably about 15, 16 zones in this area. I've got room in the clock to go to 20. I definitely want to put some more drip in. And within that's one of the new zones we actually just expanded. So I've got a clock that's actually going in over here on the building. And like I said, I love the nodes. They're awesome. We do jobs all the time. We add a zone, put in 2 zones, 4 zones. As you can see, like that one, up to 6 zones on one of those clocks. No power required. Runs off a 9-volt battery. Uses latching solenoids, which are definitely a lot more expensive, but they work. You're out in the middle of nowhere, you have no power, or don't want to run power. It costs more to get power over there than it would to put the solenoids in. So it's just a great option choice at that time. So I got a new clock. A big Rainbird clock. It's up to 24 zones over here. Show you guys in another video after I get it finished and mounted. It's mounted but finished, wired in, get the wireless hooked up, and that's really the cool thing I have with this clock. It is Wi-Fi, wireless, accessible. I've been talking about this. I know I've mentioned it in another video, but when we get those freeze nights, now I'm going to be able to go to the Rainbird app on my phone. I'll get the alert. We're going to get a freeze, and I can turn on literally just this one zone over here in this area. It's the only one we keep the tropicals in. It's the only one I run the overhead, and I might do that 3, 4, 5, 7, who knows, maybe some years none. Just run this area enough to keep those plants protected so we don't have to just cover everything with frost cloth. And this works actually better than frost cloth. So super stoked to be able to not have to jump on the golf cart in the middle of the night, throw some clothes on, kind of disturb my sleep and get back to bed a little faster. So stoked about, I can't believe I said I'm stoked about a freeze this winter, but when we do get the freeze, I don't have to get out of bed. So I am excited about that. We just added a bunch of mat on the edge of the nursery, kind of just redid that where it was coming apart. And everything right now is just pumping. We're finally starting to get a little bit of rain. So seeing lots of perennial peanut and roselle, Mexican sunflower, lots of Turk's cap hibiscus, pigeon pea, different, amaranths and garlic chives, and I think there's another variety of pigeon pea over there. I think I mentioned it in the last video. Blueberries, bananas, African potato mint. What do we got here? Some bulvine coming back, some perennial peanut that needs to be weeded. That's probably the most weedy I've ever seen anything around here. Not very common. Katarina normally doesn't let that happen, and speaking to Katarina, I'll mention it when I get up here in the shade. I got an exciting story to tell you, but lots of vitex, roses, coral honeysuckle, elderberry flowering right now. Really, really low on the black Suriname cherries. Most of our clumping grasses, bay leaf, cherry of the Rio Grandes, and some bamboos. So I was talking about Katarina there for a second, and today is payday. It's Friday, and she wanted to pay me back for some plants she took last week, and always gives me the list, and I say always because this happens on a regular basis. It's been happening for years. Katarina's always taken plants home and never really been to her place. I've seen pictures of it. Now it's at a point where she's got so many fruit trees. She's taken so much mulch. I'm like, hey, can we make a video over there? And her daughter Selena is like, yeah, maybe. And Katerina said next year. I'm shooting for fall, so I'm definitely going to try to get over one of the employees' house and kind of show you her backyard food forest that she's been developing on her own time when she's not working. And not only she do this all day, she goes home and still does this. So Katerina, we love you. You are absolutely in love with plants, so I think it's great. I love your passion. So new shade zone. These plants were not here a couple of hours ago when I left. Another thing I'm going to tell you guys, like, I have never prepared for a video. I have never ever taken a second shot unless the camera wasn't on. I didn't look over here before I went and got the camera, so this is like a surprise for me too. New shade zone. We had the mat down. We had the irrigation in place. Katerina found it. So these poles are here because I'm going to put a little bit more of this green windscreen on to give these plants just a little bit more shade. This is going to be just a giant shade area. You know, what we did here was we put a lot. The price of materials have gone up. I've probably got $600-700 just in crushed concrete, my cost, not counting my hauling, my going to get, my putting it down, my leveling it, my compacting it. Yeah, we don't mess around. We've done a lot of nurseries around the farm, a lot of different little areas, and we've learned the hard way. You know, if you take the steps, you do this right the first time, definitely not going to get a bunch of holes, divots, dips, ponds, over the next year. If I just put this on the dirt, it would be like this when we ran the irrigation. There'd always be puddles out here. So when we do an area now, we definitely spend the extra money, put in the base, put down the commercial grade weed mat. We got a serious chopper coming. I'm gonna hold for some better audio. All right, I think the audio is getting better, but basically what I was saying was take the steps, do it right the first time. It'll definitely be worth it in the long term rather than coming back, leveling that, rematting that, whatever it may be. You do it right the first time, you don't have to fix it the second time. So speaking of audio, let's talk about visual quality. I have been reading your comments about the spot on the lens. I have cleaned my lens like 10 times. I'm OCD, I clean it all the time. If I look at it and actually see a slight streak right now in the shade, I'm gonna wipe it off before I make another, shoot another spot. I'm not very technically, inclined. I can turn the camera on. I have the B-roll mode set up. I got on off. Guys, I don't do the technical stuff. My man Robbie does all the editing on my videos. He's awesome at it. Shout out to Robbie Rockwell. Good work. I had a spot on my sensor. I had to, Robbie finally told me, hey man, I don't think it's a bug. Pull your lens, basically you need to clean your sensor. I did it this morning. I think I got that fixed. I should not be hearing any more about that. How something got in behind the lens when I never take it off, it gets beyond me, but guys, that's fixed. So sorry about that little mishap. So yeah, new shade nursery, got the windscreen going up on these poles. I went with a curved design of the nursery in this space just for flow. Everything's about flow. I want to be able to drive trucks through here. I want to be able to drive tractors through here. I want to be able to get a delivery. If he gets stuck that way and can't turn around, he could come out. I can't say it enough. Access is key. All the bamboos are doing really well. This is the Alphonse car we planted with that other windbreak. There's 4 pieces here. Mexican sunflowers that was there from the year before. Hasn't really completely filled in yet. I did add some sprinkler heads to these existing clumps of bamboo. They were drying out so bad with the drought we had. That already had water on it. Runs 15 minutes a day, every day, micro heads. As you see, the burn pile got a little bamboo on there, and that was from that sea breeze that we pruned when we did the shade nursery, and I did choose to leave that in there. I could have plucked it out. I could have spent a few hours. I could have put it out here in front of this. I just kind of like that second level of protection in there. It's going to help the shade plants in here. Might be a little maintenance in the long run. Maybe I'll be kicking myself later, but I did keep it. So another shade nursery going in. I was actually out here working on this one yesterday. I have not broke out the compactor yet. Have my base down. This is basically paver base, old driveways, guys put in pavers, very common practice. That driveway gets crushed up and they use it as base for whatever. I think they sell this as a paver base. I think I've got about $600 down in this area. With that being said, I'm guessing I was even closer to 8 or 9 over there. Put a little bit more in that area. I had one dump truck delivered here, went and got one myself. I can only haul about 5 tons of this, 10,000 pounds at a time. Put about 3 or 4 inches down. I've actually only hit this with the Bobcat, pulled on it a few times, put pressure down with the bucket. We haven't compacted this area, so this still needs mat, still needs irrigation. That area over there only ended up with 6 heads. I get about 12 of those wobbler heads on a zone, so I'll get another 4 over here. Maybe go to the other side of the fence with another head or 2. Maybe this will just be a little bit of an undersized zone. We are running pressure regulators on these overhead wobbler zones. They run at 20 psi. Don't require a ton of pressure to run, not using a ton of water. So like that overhead zone that we are running on those freeze nights, actually probably should do the actual gallons, but we might be putting out like 400 or 500 gallons in that amount of time to give us that protection. So new shade nursery zone, pretty cool. Whoa, I guess I should give you guys some more of that behind the scenes. So this is the staging area. This is where I had the first load delivered. And then I just dumped my second load there yesterday that I picked up myself. Like I said, they delivered like 20 tons, 40,000 pounds. I can pick up 5. So pretty big difference in overall and how much they can haul compared to I can. Thing is, this place is only about 4 miles down the road for me, so if I'm driving by and have an empty truck, I'll bring it back myself. Finally got a little awning put on the building. I actually signed a contract on this back in January. These guys have been swamped, giving us a little bit more space for peat moss and perlite, pro mix, fertilizer, any of that kind of stuff when it gets delivered. Just honestly can never have too much space. And I know I had it in a couple of videos comment recently, and I need to address this situation. So I mentioned I had a commercial location in the works. We got a lease, and we did. We had a lease on a piece of property right down the road over the railroad tracks just south of us. Long story short, 2 weeks after I got the lease, the property owner came to me and said the county came to him and offered him astronomical money for the land. They didn't even want to sell it. They couldn't say no. I think they're moving like a mosquito control operation there in like 6 months. So he's like, you can set up, you can use it for 6 months still. You just don't have what they originally told me was probably 2 years before they were going to sell it. So made no sense to me to set up for 6 months knowing I'd have to move. Market is just totally crazy right now with buying land, not the time to be purchasing. So I'm just going to kind of hold out. You can see we've making some moves here around the farm, expanding here, kind of putting all my efforts here at the moment. Still got my scopes and my eyes out. If you see something, something that's close by, something I don't know, I definitely would be interested. Just not really looking as hard until things kind of calm down, at least market scene wise. So I got something more exciting than that though, so hold on. Finally got a couple more tables in for Miss Katerina. She's been begging me for some more space over here in the online store area, and pretty much almost everything on this side of the farm now. Japotacaba house, online store. This back is just really overstocked to the other side, but the idea being is, we have everything we need on the other side. We pull for a job, we load it in the trailer, we go. We pull for a delivery, we load it in the trailer, we go. And everything for the store is right here, right next to the packing house, where I have had goals of moving that packing house to the other side, but honestly, with our crazy rains that we get down here in the summer and winds, I'm not going to get doors on that big pole barn probably. So long term, and at least for right now, it just makes the most sense to keep it in here with the cardboard and materials that have to stay dry as far as your boxes before they ship to you. We definitely want to keep them in the off-grid packing house. So online store is pumping. Definitely need to get out here and cut some grass. We're finally getting some rain, so the grass kind of weeds are growing. Mexican sunflowers and elderberries. You could see, I'm almost like kind of surprised. We've had these tables in for 7 days and she's not full yet. Usually it happens within a day around here, so I cannot keep up with nursery space. It is just out of control. Whoa. Guys, it's like midday. I'm out here cooking. Arbequina olives, these things have grown a foot or so since I've had them over here, growing really fast. Seeing lots of katuk and butterfly bee. I saw you guys comment, you want to see the video. I'm going to do a video on the butterfly pea. Tick seed. Look at the size of this edible leaf hibiscus. This is one of our breeder plants. Probably not selling that one. Just have that one to try to propagate from. Look at all these Japotacabas. Woo! All right, guys, I am sweating it up. Whoa, so tell me this place isn't nuts. Definitely couldn't have grown the online store to the size it is now without y'all. This has been absolutely amazing. We've been having a blast with just the shipping of the plants, getting better at this, the feedback for the plants, and just really all the messages and comments and tags I get almost on a daily basis now on Instagram or Facebook from people that bought these little plants and they're big now, or people that bought these plants and propagated them and shared them with a friend. So stories like that definitely make me happy, and I love to get that kind of feedback. But what I want to share with you guys is, and what, super excited to finally be able to help you out a little bit more. I've had a ton of feedback over the years about shipping costs. Why is it so expensive? It was so expensive because I was very small as we started off. I didn't get really good rates with UPS, and actually a few months ago, or about 2 months ago, FedEx guy came in, offered me some pretty amazing competitive rates. Well, I was getting ready to go to FedEx, and honestly, I've heard a lot of just maybe 90% negative, 10% positive of FedEx. So kind of hit or miss. I feel like UPS, those guys, they're not like these FedEx guys at all. Individually own the trucks, everything's kind of more streamlined into that, the union type situation. I just feel like UPS is a bigger company and you're going to get a better package. So long story short, I am going to shut up and stop talking. I just got a much higher level of discount, and by the time you guys see these videos, I think they've doubled my discount level to compete with FedEx. I'm just returning all of that shipping discount to you guys so we can get these plants to you for a cheaper rate. So finally got some better rates on the shipping. I think that's like huge news. I can't even tell you, every week I see that comment, I see that question, and I don't even know what to say other than the rates are what they are. Prior, I didn't have a really good rep I was working with UPS. I had a lady that was like in South Carolina or Georgia. She didn't really work for me. She didn't work, she wasn't going out of her way. Within the last 6 months, I got a local rep here finally, and shout out to Bill with UPS because he'd got my business. He really worked with me. He's been fighting for me. He got my rates, I think to a point where you guys are gonna be like, wow, I can get these plants to my door, for this price. It's not even worth my time to go drive. And I think that's what it comes down to a lot when you're buying plants online. Time, all of our time are valuable. Sometimes, you don't have that ability to get in the car to go somewhere to get something, or it's too far. And unfortunately we don't have a open to the public education site, to where you can come spend a day yet. So the shipping of the plants has been really, one of these things we've been trying to get really good at. Recently I've been dealing with companies with different style pots. I am trying to get better at this. I am trying to get greener at this. I am trying to, move away from plastic. It's just not there yet. It's not available. And especially now, over the last year with the shortage of everything, you cannot get any of this stuff. I can't get the coconut pots in bulk. I mean, I can barely even get the plastic pots, much less, a mushroom-based product, which I've actually talked to a company that makes something like that. So we're looking at greener materials, trying to get away from any plastic, always constantly trying to get better at our shipping methods. I mean, this has just turned into a full-on shipping house now. I've been pretty much almost kicked out of my own barn. Today is Friday, so all the shipping is done for the week. But if you guys are in California, those packages are going out on Monday now. They're there by Friday, so I think that's really cool. When we first started off, we're shipping on a Wednesday, and the packages would get there maybe the following Friday. I mean, that's just too long for a plant in the mail. Lots of ant bait stations. That's another one I'm kind of struggling to keep in stock. Finally got the boxes all organized, and you guys aren't going to believe this. It's hard to even get boxes. Everything is kind of crazy materials wise. That's why I'm trying to stay stocked up on stuff so I don't have to run out. I don't have to struggle. Same thing with the pots, same thing with the potting mix, same thing with fertilizer. You have to think about all of this stuff ahead. I mean, pallet on pallet on pallet. My mats are gone. Like I said, I've lost, my man cave is kind of turning into a work cave. I have a friend keeping his machine here right now. That is not my toy. Although I have a toy similar, but that one's not mine. But this is the packing house. This place is, got 3 girls in it, probably 3 days a week right now. So we are pumping some packages out of here. Definitely moving stuff out fast. And like, yes, I said, this is off grid. So I think I've got 12 batteries, 8 panels on this place, and no grid tie. Literally every time I look around my own property, there's more plants in a new location. Another Jopotacaba zone. Looks like we have a bunch of white Petranthas in there. We've got a bunch of reds in there. I know there's some Sabra over here, and then there's all kinds of ruby red and watermelon and lemongrass. Crazy, weird oddballs over there in that middle area. I'm gonna save it for another video, but I'm pretty sure the Cecropia tree is flowering. Whoa, all right. I don't know if you guys are ready for this. I don't know how I missed this in the last 2 videos. I noticed it a few weeks ago, and I just had to share it with you guys. So we have a fruiting mango in a pot, and this is one of the mangoes that was in my greenhouse. You can tell by the perennial peanut. I had that peanut ground cover in there. Here's some of the peanut that made the cut. I believe this is like Malika. I'm not sure. I did lose the tag on the tree. It's holding 7 or 8 fruits. No protection whatsoever. Like I said, we do run that overhead zone. That's about, you know, first head, oh, I don't know, 25 foot over that way. It barely covers to down here, so it did not get any protection in the wintertime. We actually just put in this spray zone to run for 5 minutes a day because that zone isn't covering the plants all the way over here to the edge, because everything from here over is on drip. But we have an outdoor mango that fruited. When I was at Jim's house, I made a video today, driving around the neighborhood, driving around my old neighborhood in Newport Richey. I saw tons of mangoes holding fruit. So you can grow mangoes in this area. I get the question all the time, you know, what mango is more cold hardy? There is no such thing. There isn't a mango that's more cold hardy. There are mangoes that have a better chance of setting fruit, and those would be like the later flowering varieties. So the ones that are going to flower a little bit later has a much, you know, better chance of that flower getting affected by like that late frost. So, you know, in my experience, maybe a dwarf mango might be a little bit more cold hardy. Maybe drop something down below. You guys really think you know a cold hardy mango? I'd love to know which variety it is, but in my experience, you're just better off with the later flowering variety if you want to push the edge and grow mangoes. These guys are nice size. Like seriously, we got mangoes in 9B. Guys, I'm excited. All right, I just had to share that with you. Had to cut that into the video. That was definitely worth talking about. Here's a couple more fruits over here. Whoa, whoa, and you can see this tree's been pruned. Try to keep it small because it was in the greenhouse. So fruiting mangoes in Spring Hill, Florida, that's what's up. All the new pups are rocking. So starting them over here in the shade made a night and day difference. Most of these have filled out really well. Next thing you know, I turn and we have a new Depotacaba area. I didn't authorize that. These things are just showing up everywhere. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I did a lot of talking. There wasn't a lot about the specific plants here, maybe about the additions we did in the nursery. Like I said, I'm gonna go see Katarina's place and make a video, getting you some much better shipping rates. So thank you guys for the support. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, maybe go ahead and do so. Most importantly, I want you to get outside and pound some dirt.